Hello everyone, my name is Ulrike Riemer and I'm glad to have the chance to talk to you about recursive transfer in our Saxony⁵ project. I'm in charge of the business cluster for Verwertungsplanung in that project and I will tell you later what this is all about. My presentation will cover the following topics. First, we have the introduction, then I will tell you about our project and the joint transfer strategy, all focused on recursive transfer. After that, I would like to introduce to you detailed into my job. It is called Business Cluster für Verwertungsplanung and my experiences with the recursive transfer, followed up by the sub-project Transfer by Innovation Trainees and what the recursive transfer there is all about. And finally, I'd like to conclude and give some recommendations. Okay, let's start with the introduction. As already mentioned, our project is called Saxony⁵. It is founded by a program called Innovative Hochschule with a funding of 15 million euro. The duration is from 2018 until the end of 2022. You see, we are halfway through the project runtime, so I can give you a good overview what has happened already. The project is called Saxony⁵ because 5 universities of applied sciences are in this networking project. They are stated in the following cities: Dresden, Leipzig, Mittweida, Zittau, Görlitz and Zwickau. These cities are in Saxony, Germany. We also have some regional partners from business and society and science. It is also necessary to mention that this region has a lot of small and medium-sized businesses. Most of them have been founded or relaunched after the reunion of Germany in 1990. The region also has a high density of scientific institutions and organizations. So far to the regional background. Now, let's give you an overview about the project. Researchers from that 5 mentioned universities are forced to interchange. These researchers got virtual places for that interchange, and these virtual places are called co-creation labs. These labs got popular topics to talk about. I give you some examples to that topics so you can imagine a bit better what this is all about. We have network mobility with that electronic vehicles and their infrastructure of charge columns. We have the factory of the future, which covers all the topics about digitalization. We have additive manufacturing with the 3D dimensional printing methods. And beside these co-creation labs, we also have some supportive sub-projects, and these should help by communicating with industry and society. And the projects I'm talking about in detail today are 2 of these supportive sub-projects, and I will introduce them in detail to you later. But let me first tell you about the joint transfer strategy of the Saxony⁵ project. This picture is actually on point when describing the joint transfer strategy. It shows our 5 universities, and these universities want to stimulate with their research results and research ideas and the knowledge that they create. And they want to stimulate the enterprises and also the society. And in this picture, this is painted as a circle. So it means it should be done the other way around as well. It means society and enterprises should contact the Saxony⁵ universities with their ideas or problems or research ideas so that everyone can stimulate each other. Okay. And this is summed up in this PowerPoint slide again, because essential is that the dialogue with the enterprises and the civil society has to be strengthened. Only in this case, the Saxony⁵ universities get access to external suggestions. And only with external suggestions there will be new impulses for teaching and research. And that is the idea of a perfect recursive transfer. I know this is an obvious fact, but it is still not the reality. Okay, and with that knowledge about the recursive transfer, we can go further to the business cluster für Verwertungsplanung, which is my job. As already mentioned, I'm one of the supportive sub-projects. So if we look at the definition of the project application, we will find the following. The business cluster licensing is an establishment of organizational structure and processes for the structured validation and transfer of research results into practice. To translate that a bit, it means I have to transfer the research results into the practice, or at least help with the transfer. The biggest challenge is the evaluation of the usability of that research results. So what we have is that there is a gap between industry and the universities of applied sciences. And this gap can be named as freedom of education and research. Let me explain that. As you see on the slide, all universities are focused on educating their students. So teaching is always their first priority. A market-oriented research is forced by most of the governmental funded programs, but often the given timelines do not match with the industry. Okay, and when I look back at 2 years of me working at this business cluster, I did so much networking, and I recognized the following things. First, university professors are too busy to react on industry questions. It is clear because they have to focus on education. Industry has no idea how to contact or whom to speak with at the university, and most of the small and medium-sized enterprises have no idea about the attractiveness of the governmental support programs. So these 3 problems are essential. And in my point of view, a possible solution could be the installation of a permanent link person that connects industry, networks and society, and of course the universities. So to sum it up again with the following slide. That slide shows that industry and university move into different directions. On the university side, we have no priority on research. We have the priority on education. And on the industry side, we have also no priority on research. What industry needs most are well-educated students. They need workers, and they need them more than the research results. So we have to combine that. And that's a very interesting point, because wherever I go, the industry has one question: how can we recruit your students? And that's their main problem, and it is called Fachkräftemangel. We are highly aware of that problem, but there is no shortcut solution to it. So let us view that Fachkräftemangel a little bit closer. Wherever I want to give an impulse for technology transfer, the answer is, oh yeah, that's very interesting, but how can we recruit your students? So I know I told you before, but I have to say that again, that the region of the Saxony⁵ mostly consists of small and medium-sized businesses. They are mostly owner-managed and stated in the engineering service sector. So their employees have to be all-around talents. They have to be flexible engineer with project management skills and good soft skills to deal professionally with the customer. But on the other hand side, we have our alumni, and these alumni know about the lack of employees. They are very self-confident when they step out of the university, and they want leading positions and a lot of money and an attractive work-life balance, but the employers can't afford that, and that's one of the main problems in our region. And we are trying to support industry with that with another sub-project called Transfer by Innovation Trainees. To also give you an idea of that sub-project, I'll tell you what was written in the project application. Transfer by individuals is a set of measures to reduce the barriers between research, industry and civil society. That means that they set it up a trainee program, and this trainee program provides special education, which is mostly done by industry partners because they know what they want, and they train the students in IT and project management, human resources management, executive coaching, law and order. But from the other hand side, we have the universities, and they train that students in the development of business models and strategies. And most important, they train them in writing applications for government-funded programs. Okay, and to sum that also up, I have the following slide for you. And we have the students that go in one direction and the industry that goes into another. And we try to cover up that Fachkräftemangel problem with our trainee program to shorten that gap between university and industry as well. And finally, I have a few conclusions and recommendations for you. The problems of transfer, from my point of view, are: there is a lack of information. Potential partners don't know about existing opportunities. We have a lack of personnel continuity at the 5 Saxon universities. We have missing transfer incentives for the scientists. We have a lack of capacity for transfer beside teaching and research. We have a different orientation in timing and content between science and industry. We have a high effort for projects in application and administration, and project application is protracted and not predictable. That brings us to the requirements, from my point of view, to install a stable and reliable relationship between university and industry. There has to be established a permanent link person. And this link person also has to focus on recursive transfer to find out what industry really requires. And former students and future employees should be trained with focus on industry needs to shorten the gap between industry and university. And to sum that up, I have some general statements for you. And I'd like to say and to state that the one and only transfer method that is the magic formula and is 100% reliable does not exist. The transfer method that works in every region does not exist. Transfer only works if it's done individually, and networking only works if it's done constantly. If you would like to discuss my theories with me, so please feel free to contact me at any time. Here are my contact dates. Thank you.